let's hit the field.
You know, today is one of those days where I'm glad that I didn't end up being a Major League Baseball player. Baseball in the snowflakes in Detroit today. Yankees trying to get back on the winning track against the Tigers. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, guys? I got music on in the background, sorry. That always happens. My bad. How's it going? Tough day for the Yankees. And for those of you who are fretting about the Yankees 6-4 start, I just want to offer this little bit of consolation. It's going to get worse because that's a 97 win pace. And I don't think anybody would argue that this is a 97 win team, not with the pitching that they have displayed so far. Welcome back, everybody. We are here after every game. I promised you that. If I have internet, I'm here. Short of a death in the family or my house being on fire, and maybe not even my house being on fire, I will be here. But I don't have to be in a good mood. And today, Carlos Rodon has me in a bad mood.
Carlos Rodon is so ass.
You might even say that he was a bum today.
Damn bum, you know that? Bum.
My bum is on the
Yankees. For the first time this year, we are giving out some well-deserved recognition for the bum of the day, Carlos Rodon. The only pitcher in the league that I know of that can throw 98 miles an hour but doesn't know how to make hitters uncomfortable when it's literally freezing outside. I also took issue with John Flaherty covering for him. He was almost the bum of the day. He said that Rodon threw 2 bad pitches today. He said he threw 2 bad pitches. The guy gave up 5 earned runs. He had 3 walks. What about the bad pitches coming with men on base? What about the bad pitches to put guys on base? Sad. Sad commentary. So congratulations for making pinstripe history, Carlos Rodon. You are the first regular season recipient of the bum of the day. I knew it was going to be cold today, but I didn't envision snowflakes. I took Paul Goldschmidt hitting a home run as my Nostraderic pick. Yankees did, in fact, not hit any home runs.
I've never been so wrong in my whole life.
I told you guys that Trent Grisham was going to be in the lineup if he kept hitting, and he was. He gave Dominguez the day off today, and he had another hit. He was 1 for 4. He hit the ball hard. But none of that mattered because the pitching was crap. And Carlos Rodon, rain, shine, sleet, snow, no matter what the conditions, serving up those meatballs on time and on schedule. All right, let's get to the
Let's get it going.
recap. Melvin Lord said they looked like they didn't want to be there. And I have to agree. I think both teams looked like they didn't want to be there. I mean, I'm sure it was uncomfortable. I'm sure it was cold. They just got done traveling. But, you know, that's the sport you have chosen. It's an outdoor sport. Better get used to it. So, not a good day for the Yankees. So, we had Ben Rice back in the leadoff spot. He drew a walk to lead off the game, but got stranded. And then he tripled in the top of the 3rd inning. Unfortunately, got picked off for straying off the bag.
I'm so sick of this shit.
Just ugly. I was telling our social media guy, though, that when Ben Rice hits, I pay attention in the same way that I pay attention for Judge or Bellinger or Goldschmidt, the boppers, because he has a legitimate chance to crush it every time, and he smoked another one today. So when he is locked in, the adjustments that he has made are working. Unfortunately, after the triple, he got picked off. And then the next pitch was a wild pitch, went to the backstop, so he would have scored. So, not a good outcome there. Yanks fell behind 3-0 after the home run by Ibanez. Again, you could argue that it was a bad pitch, that there was an error. I don't really care about all that. I care about bad pitches with guys on base and walks. Rodon walks too many guys. And that was a problem again today. 5 earned runs. There's no way to spin that into a good start or to make excuses for that. I'm sorry. 5 earned runs is not acceptable right now. Not with Garrett Cole out. Got to pitch better. Yankees began to chip back in the 5th inning. Another hit from Grisham, another walk by Ben Rice, and then an RBI single from Judge, 18th RBI of the year. He leads the American League. Cabrera, actually he leads the major leagues. Cabrera booted a routine ground ball in the 5th inning. Ended up being another 2-run inning for the Tigers. Again, Rodon doesn't pitch around mistakes by his teammates or bad calls. Like, he implodes. Like that cheap submarine that the guy was controlling with a PlayStation controller. Implodes. Yankees offense did practically nothing off of Casey Mize. 6 innings of 1-run baseball. I remember when Casey Mize pitched against the Yankees in spring training a couple years ago, completely and thoroughly dominated them, and that was the case again today. Tigers did turn a beautiful 1-6-4-3 double play on Oswaldo in the 7th inning. Ricocheted off the pitcher, went to Baez. He made a great flip to second. They turned the double play. Just as a baseball fan, I was impressed. That was a nice play. Tigers tacked on in the 7th. Jazz Chisholm blew a huge 4-6-3 double play. Jazz had a bad day. Also had some really, really bad swings, awful swings, weak swings, wild swings, leading the league in strikeouts. Credit to Bellinger. Down 5 runs in the 8th inning, hustling down the line, beat out an infield single, came around to score on an error for the Yankees' 2nd run. And Tommy Kahnle closed it out. He froze his former catcher, Austin Wells, who had called 61 consecutive changeups last year, with a fastball. Froze him to get him looking. And the Yankees drop game 1 of the series. CTC Cards says, I like Jazz, but he needs to put the ball in play. Do you like Jazz? Stop swinging at every pitch and trying to launch it into the stands. 100% agree with you there. We're going to take a lot of audience comments today. The chat seems fired up. CT also says, Belly hustled more on that play than Torres and Verdugo did combined last year. Yeah, Verdugo was the worst about that. Torres would occasionally hustle, but not until he had to get sat down by Aaron Boone. The issue with Torres was he would try and pimp home runs that weren't home runs. He had a little bit of Josh Donaldson in him. But, look, tough day for the Yankees. My channel says another Nostradamus prediction. I'll eat that one. I'll eat it. So, tough day. Let's talk about Carlos Rodon a little bit.
Pitcher spotlight.
I had the feeling this could be a good day for Carlos Rodon. I actually messaged Frankie this morning. I said, Frankie, I'm telling you this, but I'm not making a prediction. I feel like Rodon might throw a no-hitter today. It's cold in Detroit. He throws hard. He throws in. And I felt like he was going to be getting in on guys' hands all day. My only issue was, I don't know if he can go 9 innings. Because usually if somebody told you Carlos Rodon gave you 7 good innings, you'd be like, get the hell out of here. But 1, 2, 3 easy first inning, 1, 2, 3 easy second inning. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I was onto something. Maybe I should have made this my Nostradamus prediction. And then, of course, loses the strike zone, can't recover from an error. Friggin' meatball.
Time to stop throwing these fucking meatballs.
2 more runs in the 5th. He had some strikeouts today. He gave the Yankees 6 innings. They needed some innings today. He threw over 100 pitches. But again, I don't get Flaherty saying that it was a good outing and that it was only 2 bad pitches. He was behind in the count. He was walking guys. And he made bad pitches when there were runners in scoring position. That is the literal opposite of a good outing, Johnny. Final line, 6 innings, 6 runs, 5 of them earned. 4 hits, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. Tough day at the office.
It stinks.
We got some questions in here about our pitching staff. Alejandro wants to know, when does Luis Gil come back? And that is actually what they call the perfect segue. Because I have a section here on injury updates. So Ian Hamilton expected to return tomorrow. You saw Adam Ottavino pitch today. My guess is that they're going to DFA him for the second time in a week. I thought it was interesting. They DFA'd him. He rejected a trip to the minor leagues, became a free agent, and then re-signed with the Yankees. So it seems like kind of a loophole in the whole sending guys down, not having an option, that type of thing. Clark Schmidt could be back in a couple of weeks. Rotation could definitely use him. We're going to talk a little bit in a few minutes about pitchers that could be available, specifically Sandy Alcantara for the Miami Marlins, who are also known to make early trades in the season and have no reason to try and compete this year. So we'll talk about that. But Clark Schmidt could be rejoining the rotation. That will likely spell the end of the line for Adam Warren. I'm sorry, Will Warren. I told you I was going to call Will Warren Adam Warren 100 times this year, probably more. But that should be the end of him unless somebody else gets injured. Thank God. Jonathan Loizaga gave an update on him today, and they said that he is possibly going to come back in May, maybe June at the latest. We could definitely use him. I mean, around June, our bullpen is going to be waxed, I think, if the starters don't start giving us more. So I really think it's on Brian Cashman to go out and get somebody a little bit earlier this year. And then Stanton and Heel, who knows, midseason maybe. Stanton is already hitting off of the traject machine. He's a DH, so I'm not sure how the ramp-up process is going to work with him. He usually doesn't go to the minor leagues anymore when he's coming back from one of these rehabs. He just hits off the traject machine, and then one day he's in the lineup. And for the next 3 weeks, he goes 7 for 80, and then he starts hitting again. That's what we can expect. I expect him back at some point, maybe in May, maybe late May, but I expect him to start hitting sometime around the All-Star break. And with the way Ben Rice is hitting and swinging the bat, producing crazy exit velocity, hitting home runs, I'm sure they're not in a rush to get Giancarlo back. All right, so let's talk about some guys who could be available. I want to first talk about Sandy Alcantara. Now, you might ask yourself, why would the Marlins make a deal so early in the season? Well, they probably won't. But last year they did trade Luis Arraez in May, which is pretty early. Most pitchers don't even try, or most GMs rather, don't even try to make trades that early. They wait until closer to the deadline. You know, teams get more desperate. But this might be one of those years where Cashman has to go out on a limb and be aggressive and maybe even overpay a little bit. Now, looking at Sandy Alcantara, 6'5", 200 pounds, just a big dude. In 2022, the same year that Judge and Goldschmidt won MVPs, he was the National League Cy Young Award winner. He went 14-9 with a 2.28 ERA. He made 32 starts through 228 2/3 innings and had 207 strikeouts. He's a sinker baller, keeps the ball on the ground. It's 96.7 miles an hour. He's got a changeup. He'll throw the four-seamer up there, 97. Got a curve and a slider. Now you look at his metrics and his pitching run value, his breaking ball value, his fastball value, everything, off-speed value, everything is well above average. Ground ball rate among the best in the league. If I'm Brian Cashman, I'm going to the Marlins and I'm saying, what will it take to get a deal for this guy right now? Right now. Anything short of George Lombard Jr., I think you got to pull the trigger. I mean, if they want Spencer Jones, they want, let's say Roderick Arias, maybe one or two others. I think you have to pull the trigger. This guy is a difference maker. And he's the guy that we're going to put our focus on this year until he gets moved, because I think he is the answer to a lot of problems while Garrett Cole is down. Another guy, now this one I think is less likely, but it's a non-zero chance, as we like to say. Michael King. He's made 2 starts so far, 7 2/3 innings, and 14 strikeouts. So he's got the swing and miss stuff happening right now. Still among the better off-speed pitches in the league. Change-up guy mostly these days. Throws a sweeper, throws a sinker. Can still pop up the fastball in there at 94 miles an hour. Still got a slider. But he's just incredibly difficult to hit because he's got good command. He's got really good stuff. Going to be a free agent. And he's going to test the waters because he's going to get paid. So the Padres are at a crossroads. They have to decide, do we want to trade this guy while we're competitive and piss off our fan base? Or do we want to hang on to him and try and go deep in the playoffs with him and risk losing him and getting nothing for him? With as aggressive as AJ Preller is in going for it, that's a really interesting problem for him to face, because I could see him trying to move King in a deal that also allows them to stay competitive, right? So you get maybe another pitcher back that has more control. Will Warren, anybody? No, I don't think they're that stupid. No, but I could see them making a deal if they got something of value in return that would help them win. But I could also see them going all in and just saying, hey, we'll try and re-sign Michael King in the offseason. But I don't know if that's going to happen, because there's all sorts of like ownership disputes. You know, the owner of the Padres died last year. His widow and the rest of his family, I believe his sons, are vying for control of the franchise. And it sounds like they're having some money issues, and they're not going to want to commit a ton of money. So those are two guys that we need to keep our eyes on. And I think that maybe Alcantara can be had. I think the Yankees could figure out a way to make that happen. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a few more comments from the audience. Matt Paredes says, trading for King would hurt their pride. Traded him for Soto, then lost Soto just to get King back. Well, we've seen Cashman reacquire guys multiple times. I mean, we just saw it with Ottavino. We saw it with Javier Vasquez, Nick Johnson. I mean, he brings guys back that he knows are comfortable in the organization. David says, Jazz is becoming a strikeout machine. He has gotten himself into launch mode. The guy is dead set on pounding home runs. Bean Berna says, I have a weird gut feeling that King wants to be a Yankee again. You know, he liked it with the Yankees. And playing with the Yankees for such a long time, you get used to certain levels of, like, comfort, luxury. I'm not sure that the Padres have that level of comfort and luxury. Maybe. I'm sure they treat their players very well. But you talk about things like the food, the restaurant the Yankees have for their players, things like that, the training facilities, spring training facilities. You know, you're not in some sweaty locker room. You're in an amazing major league quality clubhouse. And that's not true of every team. I have no idea what the facilities are like with the Padres. But when considering where he's going to be for his next contract, I'm sure he's going to consider the Yankees because he's comfortable there and he knows he's had success there. And I think the Yankees are going to want him. And I think the Yankees will spend to bring him back. Yankees legend says, can't rely on Stroman and Warren in a pennant chase. Wouldn't be shocked if Stroman gets DFA'd or IL'd at the end of the season to prevent his 140 innings pitched mark. I don't think they would IL him for that, especially if he's not hurt. The league just came down on Billy Epler for the fake, IL trip roster workaround thing. And I'm sure that Stroman, being who he is, would object vocally and publicly if the Yankees IL'd him when he wasn't hurt. But if he has the slightest injury that is justifiable, you can bet your ass they're going to put him on the IL at some point to keep him from getting to that mark, because there's $18 million that comes attached with the 140 innings mark. And as we've seen so far this year, he has not looked good. He has not looked good. So that's where we're at. Obviously a tough day for the Yankees. Andy Campione says, I trust King. Go get it done, Cashman. Let's hope so. Definitely need someone. Ira Sparrow says, Rodon can't handle the pressure of being a number one starter. He's not even the number one starter. I mean, I guess technically, mathematically he is, but I don't think there's any delusion that he's better than Max Fried at this point. Come on. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, tough day for the Yanks. If you missed it, you didn't miss a whole lot. Offense didn't do much. Hopefully we'll get back at it tomorrow, but with Tariq Skubal on the mound against Carlos Carrasco, you guys should prepare for another tough one. But as always, we will be here after the game, and I'll see you then. Hey, while I've got you here, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Pinstripe Territory is the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We are home to the #1 most watched MLB postgame show on YouTube since 2021. We're here after every Yankees game and for reactions to all the best news and rumors during the offseason. Be a part of the show by calling into the voicemail 718-899-1068. Try to keep it clean for me. And if you ever miss us on YouTube, be sure and subscribe on all your favorite podcast platforms. Go ahead and rate us 5 stars. It'll help other people find the show. Thanks for watching. See ya.